Fear. Fear versus ignorance. No, ignorance led by fear. For a long time now, South Africans have ignorantly voted for the ANC again and again, despite its many failings and glaring flaws. Some might be asking why. Well, it's complicated. I mean, if I'm gonna explain, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at apartheid. Excuse me if I sound a little different. I'm currently a little bit sick. Sorry again. Right now, I'm going to be covering the. No, well, I'm not going to be covering the full history of apartheid in this video. That's not what I'm here to do. What I'll be doing is sort of skimming through certain events to explain how we got to the current day circumstance. Um, if you really want to learn more about apartheid, I recommend TED Ed's a really short summary, and if you want more in-depth analysis, I recommend you go to your own studying on the subject. Yeah. But anyway, so thanks to the National Party that colonized our country in 1948, segregation ran rampant with schools, homes, land, and other such belongings. They stripped native land of their original inheritance and forced many of us into small plots, or I would like to compare these to sort of pretty much ghettos. At the time, there were three main political parties that fought this oppression and spearheaded South Africa's battle for freedom, essentially. These parties being the Communist Party, which was banned in 1950, the Pan-Africanist Congress, who split from a main subject of today, the African National Congress, or the ANC. Now, another thing you must understand is that during apartheid, around the 1960s, we were thriving economically despite the immoral methods to which got us there, which included practically slavery and generally scummy tactics by the National Party. And let me tell you, back in the day, the ANC was in its prime. Think the ANC as a political party in the 1960s was, they were beyond stacked, right? First of all, they had, our favorite South African president, Nelson Mandela. They got Thabo Mbeki, who would, later on run as president after Nelson. We had Jacob Zuma, who again was also going to run as president after Thabo, but terrible person. But at this time, he was working with the ANC to fight against the corruption that was apartheid. And, at that time, you know, everybody, all the black South Africans, and at the time we had put a lot of faith in the ANC, and to say the least, that faith was very well placed, which I suppose will lead us into the next subject of today's video, Nelson Mandela.
Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished guests, comrades and friends, today all us do, by our presence here, and by our...
Like the history of apartheid, I'm not going to go in extensive detail on Nelson Mandela and his presidency, unfortunately. But I will be skimming over what's relevant for the video. But if you do want me to do South African history, you can comment down below. Maybe I'll consider it if I'm feeling like it. Nelson Mandela was a hero to the entire nation of South Africa, and his political party was the first to actually be able to run and represent the struggling black majority of South Africa. And arguably, when he was ruling South Africa, that was its prime. It was in its prime. Even afterwards, it could be argued that Thabo Mbeki was a rather decent president as well. And with all these different feats of power and success the ANC seemed like the objectively best political party in South Africa, you know? I wouldn't blame anyone for voting the ANC. But that sentiment remained until Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma was born April 12th, 1942. I've mentioned him earlier as also being a part of the same party as Nelson Mandela as they fought against the oppression of apartheid. He he had a really good reputation before he was president as, you know, the one who worked alongside Jacob Zuma. He was leading the ANC. We were just coming off the heels of Tambo and Becky, and uh, we had faith that he would be just as great or even greater than the presidents before him. But it was evident very soon that he was problematic, as he was involved in many scandals and had sexual assault allegations, misuse of the nation's money, amongst other things. He really was that just led to the downfall of South Africa. And despite all of this, after he was removed from office, he has his own political party, the MK, right? And what really shocked me, and like what I think what inspired me to make this video, was the fact that people were still voting for him even now, despite everything he did wrong not being a secret. It's public knowledge that he was a terrible person and a bad president. And I feel this is what I really want to discuss from the beginning, with the ignorance of South African voters and, the lack of understanding within politics, and why I really wanted to make this channel in the first place, as I believe there is a lot of ignorance that I believe if we don't manage to root out, it will affect the next generation. And I believe that the fact that people still vote for him even now is proof that people don't know why they vote. What I'm not sure if they know what they're trying to do, the impact of voting for someone. I believe that as of the current moment, I'm not saying all South Africans, but a good chunk of us don't really know what we're voting for, what political ideologies and beliefs we have within ourselves. I personally believe that this is a really, really big and prevalent issue that needs to be discussed and fixed, frankly, which is, again, part of the reason why I started this channel. And if you look at present day, we have Cyril, also part of the ANC. This video was not just really about talking about how bad the ANC is. Cyril seems to be doing somewhat decently, doing better than Jacob Zuma ever was, which is, again, a low bar, but I'm not going to dunk on him today. I mostly just wanted to cover the fact that despite what I just said, um, it's a bit complex, and it's more so, it's a deeper story, because the ANC did really, help move South Africa forward. And a lot of South Africans are sort of loyal to that, because, again, they did help free us. And I believe we should be eternally grateful for that. But I do believe that we should maybe this next election, if Cyril does decide to resign, we ought to look at the other parties, look at what actually do research into them, look into our contestants, not just go for the default ANC. And if, if the next president is from the ANC and they're good, then good. I just really want to encourage the idea of political awareness and understanding, especially if you want to debate someone who's from another political party and you don't even know what opposing that same opposing political party believes in or what they're trying to do. It can lead to sort of a toxic argument where, someone who argues for the ANC is just kind of blocking their ears and just thinking to themselves. And I just want more political awareness, I suppose, again. Again, this is not throwing me shade to the ANC, despite my personal gripes with them. You vote for what you believe in if you understand, and I ultimately can't change your mind if you're not willing to listen. And I just wanted to say that, um, that ignorance is really, I believe, the root cause of many of our problems in South Africa, and I want to root it out. It was starting with politics and our community. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe if you want to. I plan to post more content, although might be a bit slower as I'm studying and I'm a little bit sick, but it's okay. Let me know what video I should do next. Till then, I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe.